Holly Cotton here, and I am super excited to be with Mr. Keith Davis. Keith Davis is actually one of the speakers today here at Prairie View College, and we're we're not going to say motivational, we're going to say educational speaking, but I was very motivated by what you did. So I know USC, football, Giants, all of that great stuff, played for some of the best coaches, loved all of your stories. So just give us a little bit of your background really quick, just for anyone that doesn't know who you are. Put some respect on your name.
Yeah. So as you mentioned, I played at USC, the Trojans, Rose Bowl champions, but I was born and raised in South Central Los Angeles. Lots of gang activity in my community, lots of drug activity in my family. Just so unstable. I went to 19 different schools before the 10th grade. I was a remedial student, but ended up graduating with the highest overall grade point average from USC. Scholar Award of Honor, Dean's List, business finance major. And after playing football, just played briefly with the New York Giants, I started speaking all over the globe. So I've been from the top of Africa, whether it's Egypt or Ethiopia, all the way down to South Africa, Zimbabwe, in the middle, Nigeria, Niger, Ghana, Southeast Asia, and schools all over the U.S., inspiring kids that no matter, it's not how you start, but it's how you finish. Your ending can be better than your beginning. Winners look at what they're going to, losers look at what they're going through.
And he said that tonight, y'all, and I wrote it down, and I'm going to be quoting it too. But yeah.
Because if God before us, who can be against us? And I let people know that there are so many challenges in our lives, but if God before us, who could be against us? So that's why I'm still here today and using our gifts as a team. It was a team of us to inspire not only young college football players, but leaders and fathers and husbands for the next generation. So challenge them not only in their football, but how they treat young ladies and how they treat their children and how they commit to the future that they have. So anyway,
now let me ask you. Let me tell y'all, we done caught the Holy Ghost 5-6 times today. So let me just ask you this, and this is just off of just me asking from an outsider looking in. So whenever we are in these spaces where we are, like you said, educational speakers, we want to motivate, we want to be the change. So what is it that you really feel whenever someone is listening to you and they come to you and they say, I got this from it or whatever? Like, what is what are those things that you're looking for to instill where you know someone is really, really retaining or got the message that you were trying to share?
Yeah, so I'm a unique speaker because I speak from elementary age, middle school, high school, college, teacher, staff, corporate, and everyone, and in many different languages. I've had one time where 5 different translators, literally, because I was in different African dialects, but people come always with 1 or 2 words. They got hope. They got vision. They can see it. It's not here, but it's coming into view. And they not only have hope, but they have a sense of commitment to hang in there, because there's so much that's exhausting us mentally, spiritually, emotionally, and everything, to keep pushing. And you've seen our little push analogy.
Yes.
And it stands for persevere or pray or whatever you got to do until something happens. Success, hopefully, right? But just keep going forward, step by step, day by day.
I love that. I love that. Okay, so because I post all of this on social media and all that stuff. So the name of, because I know it's a group of you guys. So what's the name of it and how can people find you?
Yeah, so I mean, people just look me up, Keith Davis _98. That is my Instagram. Keith Davis, Keith. Some people say KIE, so it's KEITH DAVIS _98. It's my Instagram. That's my Twitter, and my website is just keithdavis.org. And they can look me up, find me. And there is another Keith Davis who played years ago for the Dallas Cowboys. Our Wikipedias are right next to each other. I'm the linebacker, so one of them is the safety. So it'll say one linebacker, one safety. So I was the linebacker. But that being said, I'm just here to make a difference. I heard a guy say years ago, he said, focus on making a difference. He said, don't focus on making a living. Focus on making a difference, and God always makes sure you make a living. So I've always focused on how can I be the change and make a difference. First in my community I started, then I went to my nation, and then the doors open for me around the world to nations of the world. So I'm excited about it.
And first of all, and last thing, because I'm just say this, I'm done with you, Keith, but I'm just want everybody to know, because you guys know I am an avid traveler. This man had me so jealous. 61 countries.
64 now,
oh,
yeah.
64 countries. So
it's beautiful. It's a beautiful world that God has created. And so my goal is 100, so I'm still moving forward.
I love that. I love that.
Yeah.
So that is Mr. Keith Davis, you guys.
All right, see you there.
So I have Rashad Coulter here, and Rashad, UFC fighter. That's what we're gonna focus on. We know you got an extensive resume as well, but that's the big thing. That's the big thing. So what I just wanted to say first, because we're here, you guys were doing, the motivational speaking and all of that, but I love to see when someone has something that happened where they break a whole stereotype, because someone sees you as a UFC fighter, they don't think you about to come in here and make everybody catch the Holy Ghost. So he starts, you missed out, or not hearing everything that he shared. So just give us a little quick background for anyone who doesn't know you, and about how you transitioned to a UFC fighter.
Right on. Well, for me, it started out. I mean, I was raised in a single parent home. My mom she left me and my sister. She abandoned us in the basement as a kid growing up. I lived a life of drugs. I lived a life of professional athlete, a college athlete, ruptured my quad muscle, injuries, to becoming being my own single father, being another stereotype, living the same life that I told myself that I wouldn't live. But man, my heart and my passion is to see people's lives change. If I can help somebody not go through or experience what I experienced and make the same mistakes that I made, God has really given me a heart for people for that. And I believe that once I start beating people up for a paycheck, and I see like the reception that it gets and the respect that it gets, but I like people's attention. Because when they see you, they look at you as an individual that's mean and rough, but they don't see the softness of your heart. So I like being in these atmospheres, and I like when I do fight, I get the opportunity to so a prayer of mine is that I say, God, let the people see you through me. And that's one thing that I love to do whenever I fight is tell people about God.
One of the things that I really thought was unique and definitely inspiring for whoever, because my audience, I know I look young and fine, but I am a little middle-aged person as well. If anybody asks, I'm 30 though. But you were saying that your first fight wasn't until you were actually 30 years old, and for me, I love that you share that, because here, even though we're talking young people, they don't get it. 30 seems forever away, but there are so many people that are in life and they think that, oh, once you hit a certain age bracket, then I can no longer pursue that, or if I had that dream, it's over for me. So give us a little insight, tell them about your story about that.
For sure. So like me, I never fought amateur. I never wrestled, boxed, or anything as a kid growing up. It was literally a mind shift for me. And I didn't have my first fight till I was 30 years old. I trained for almost a year, and I was watching it literally on TV, and I was like, man, I bet you I can do this. And I just put my mind to it and got up off the couch and I went. But I want to inform people, like especially young men, because I was in their shoes, and I was the number one recruit. I was the star athlete. I was everybody look at him, and then injury happens, rupture my quad, and you feel like your life is over. And as men, like we're ego driven, and we're so caught up on what we should be, or people think by this age in my life now I should be here and here. So I like to let people understand, like, bro, it doesn't matter how old you are. Every day you get a chance and a choice. And with that chance and a choice, what are you going to do with it? And at the age of 30, I said, I can do this. And I decided to make the shift mentally and believe in myself that I can make a change. And I went and I actually made it to the UFC. And now I'll be fighting in a couple of months for the bare knuckle boxing world title. So I'll be a world champion in bare knuckle boxing too.
Okay. Okay, and your girl got him right here. Your girl got him right here. So just a last little bit because I want to get in your business. Because if you guys Google him, Daywalker is your name in the quotations on Google. So I want to know how you got this name because I don't know.
Yeah. So Daywalker came from my high school homeboy that got me into fighting. Like he's dark skinned, and I'm real light.
I'm not sick of them with them light skin things.
That's how he is. So he always had the light skin jokes.
Right.
He was like, man, boy, you pale. He's like, man, you pale as a vampire. He's like, man, you a vampire walking in the daytime. I'm gonna call you Daywalker. So he said I'm so pale that I'm pale as a vampire, so he gave me the name Daywalker.
Well, and Google got it in quotations, so I know that's right. Okay, so anyway, thank you so much. Now, do you want to drop if anyone is interested, whatever social media, how they can get in touch with you or how they can follow you? Like you said, tell them the fight again, all of that stuff, anything you want anybody listening to.
For sure. So if you want to follow me on Instagram, it's Redeemed Beast. My Twitter is just my name, Rashad_Coulter, Coulter. And my TikTok is Daywalker21. But anybody want to follow me on social media, hit me up, book me. It don't even matter. Come talk to me, man. I'm willing to talk to everybody.
I love that. Well, I'm gonna be cheering for you.
Thank you very much. Appreciate you.
Yes. Holly Cotton here, and I have Germard Reed. And Germard was actually one of the speakers today. First of all, let me just tell you guys, because I'm going to post a little video clips for you guys where he was doing a push-up, and that man had to be, what, like 450 pounds that got on your back?
He was about BIG.
Yeah. He was a big old dream. So let me just ask you, how, first of all, before we talk about that, how do you stay in shape where you can actually push up people like that?
I stay in shape by just working out every single day. I put myself in positions to do stuff like that. It's not normal for some people to do stuff like that, but I do it just to test myself. So every single day I put myself in position to test myself by doing push-ups, building the strength of my back, building my chest up, building my arms up. So that's what I do. I do that every single day. I work out extremely hard.
Okay, so now back to you're here today. You're one of the inspirational speakers. You shared your story, did all of the inspiring. We caught the Holy Ghost about 4 times with what he said as well today. So very, very inspiring. So I know that you shared your story. I'm just going to ask you share a little bit of it, and then also I want you to tell us how you found this to be a purpose in life from your story, because we all have these stories, these survivor stories. Everybody has gone through something, and a lot of people don't use that as a platform to start coming out here and speaking to people and motivating them. So give us a little snip of your story, and then at what point you found this to be your passion, where you wanted to be the difference that we need.
For me, it's a purpose for myself because growing up in my life, I didn't have my father. My mother was in my life, grew up in a gang-infested Los Angeles, California, South Central to be exact. And growing up there was no hope. There was nothing to live for. Everybody was going to be a part of the gang. You was going to shoot, you was going to kill, you was going to die. That's how it's supposed to be. But a kid like me, who had dyslexia, who couldn't read, write, or speak until the 4th grade, overcame all adversity that's placed up against me. My mother told me one time, she said, baby, you're counted out. But the thing is not everybody can count. The same people that'll be counting you out are the same ones counting on you. And so the world is counting on me to be a voice, to be an impact. And so how I found it purposeful was I was on the floor crying out to God one day after getting cut from the NFL. And I remember crying and I asked God, why'd you take it from me? Why'd you just let me have everything and take care of my family? Do that and then take it away from me. And then what God basically told me, he said, son, you trying to get to the league, but you're in a league of your own. And I'm telling every single body that's out there, what is your lane? Don't find your purpose, because your purpose is what you were meant to do, but I need you to find your passion. I'm passionate about speaking because I see that one kid that was me. I see that one individual that needs hope, that one individual that needs love. And love is TIME. It's spending time with yourself and spending time with the people that you love. So it was purposeful for me because nobody ever did it for myself. And that made me be the person to step out and show everybody that it's possible.
I love that. You know what? heart. I love it. Okay, so for anyone that is going to see this, that wants to get in touch with you, follow you, support you in any kind of way, drop your social media, website. Do you have any type of organization, foundation, anything like that also?
So I have my nonprofit Be Beyond Great. My Instagram is g.reed61. My Twitter, which is now X, is Mr. G Reed 61, and also I have a podcast. It's called Bearded Different Podcast, where we basically talk about sports, laughter, jokes, but it's some inspiration in there too. It's a little bit, not like this, it's a little bit though.
Something.
Yeah, it's not like that.
I love it. I love it. Okay, thank you. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
So I have Dominic Miller here, and Dominic, he actually was one of the speakers tonight as well, and you had very unique story. First, let me just tell you guys, one of the key things that he did tonight, because everyone had their own little thing, and he broke a bat, like a real bat, put it behind, and I be going to the gym, but I let him have that one, broke the bat behind you. So first of all, how did that become something that you could possibly do? Like, who decides to just break bats?
Honestly, believe it or not, when I first started breaking bats and doing different kind of feats, I started with my mentor Keith Davis. He started with me bending the bar, and to be honest, one time I tried to bend the bar in front of over 1,000 kids, and I could not bend the bar. And then he gave me the bat. He said, "Come on, break it," and I could not break it. But I kid you not, one day I was on my way to do a juvenile detention center in Chicago, and I had a vision before going out there to bend the bar. And I'm like, there's no way I could bend the bar. I never bent the bar before in my life. Like, this is hard. But when I had that vision, it gave me the confidence to bend the bar. So I took that bar and I bent it for the first time in front of over 50 kids that was locked up in the juvenile detention center in Chicago. And it also gave me the confidence. I kept having dreams and visions to break the bats and bend the bar. So I use that when I speak at schools, when I'm speaking to other educators, when I'm speaking to football teams and organizations. I always bring some type of feat in to give them a visual aid.
Yeah, well, I was very inspired. You caught my attention because I was like, is he gonna break the bat? And then like Keith said, most people have to go from the momentum, and you just did it at sense. But anyway, let's talk about how great you are. I was impressed, you guys. So I love strength. Okay, so one of the things that you were talking about today, of course, you told your story about how you became a motivational speaker. But one of the things that didn't you have a catchphrase? What was your catchphrase?
You don't fail when you lose, you fail when you quit.
Right. So give us some insight into your story, and then how that became like your mission, and now that motivates you.
Yeah. So, growing up, both my mom and my dad went to federal prison when I was 15 years old. Mom taken away, grandma taken away. And also, I was a special ed student. I struggled with reading, dyslexia, ADHD, all type of learning disabilities. And at one point in my life, besides playing football, getting recruited by the University of Houston, then looked at by the Green Bay Packers, I'm also an educator. Mm-hmm. I value education. And but I never thought in my life that I can be an educator because I struggled in school. But I tell my students, I tell people, you have to be the doorkeeper of your mind, because so many bad thoughts will try to come in there, but you have to kick them out. Just like if you go to a club, you're not going to let just anybody in that club. Right. You got to come dressed appropriately. Right. The same thing with your mind. You can't let just any kind of thing come inside there. It's strong. So long story short, I ended up taking one of the biggest tests of my life. And that's to be an educator. Over 200 questions on this test. I didn't think I was going to be able to pass this test. I thought, you know what? I'm going to fail. I'm a sped kid. I remember I couldn't read. People making fun of me. But I kept telling myself, hey, man, you don't fail when you lose. You fail when you quit. I said, you gotta believe. You can, you will, you must. So I took the test for the first time, and guess what? I didn't pass. Oh. You
had me going. I was all motivated. I'm like, yeah.
I took the test again. Guess what? Still didn't pass. Third time, fourth time, still didn't pass.
Mm-hmm.
The fifth time, and you only get 5 attempts to be an educator.
Mm-hmm.
So I take this test, and I'm thinking, I got to do whatever it takes. I'm forming study groups. I'm looking up people on Instagram, Facebook. We meeting up at University of Houston. I take the test for the fifth time, and yep, I passed.
Okay. I'm glad I was. Oh goodness.
I passed, but I tell people it doesn't matter where you come from, as long as you can remember, you don't fail when you lose. You fail when you quit. So don't quit. Don't give up. If I can do it, so can you. So now I speak all around the world. Not only am I educated, but I speak all around the world. I had a chance to speak to over 38 states to over 4 million people. So I love it. I'm enjoying it. And my goal is to impact 4 million more in the next 10 years.
I love that. I love that. Now, Dominic also gave me a little sneak peek, but I'm gonna let y'all know he is also a fellow author in the making, and so give us just in future future projects that you're working on, how people can support you, find you, drop whatever you want.
So you can find me on Instagram. I am Dom Miller. That's actually everything. My Instagram, my website. That's everything. And like I said, it's all about a vision. Helen Keller was blind and deaf, and they asked her what can be worse than being blind, and she said having sight with no vision, because sight see what is, but your vision see what could be. So I'm encouraging young people to dream big. That's the title of my book. I just gave you a sneak peek. Dream big. So and it's based on social emotional learning. So I'm bringing my life coaching skills into the book to draw the best out of the students for social awareness, self management, relationship building, and self awareness as well.
Okay, well, I can't wait to get the book. So thank you. It's so nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you as well.
Yes.
Right.
Thank you.